Hi, what's up? Can you guys see me, hear me? I'm smiling and laughing at Fem with your comment. Welcome. Hi, guys. It's, what is it? Happy October 1st. It's that time, fall time, my favorite. What's up? How's it going? There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Thank you, Fem. Hi, Tipsy. Hi, Fem. It's just us for now, which is better. We can tell secrets while we have a smaller crowd. Um, okay, so there's a lot going on. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Melly. We're gonna cover Ashley Bocanegra case, part 6. We're gonna go over the investigation report. I'm gonna read through it. It seems like it's a lot, but you know, we read documents on this channel all the time and we get through them pretty fast. I wanted to kind of, after all this, the parts, we're on part 6, so 5 parts. I wanted to go kind of back to the beginning and read like the criminal investigation report, word for word. We saw the long crime fight. We saw all the footage, interrogations that I got from the police department. So now we're gonna read the investigation report. We're gonna watch the fight. I can't play it fully in its entirety because it condones violence, etc. for YouTube. So I'm gonna read parts of the report and we're gonna watch the fight. So I'm gonna switch back and forth in between. And then we're gonna watch an interview from an inmate that was housed with Antonetta. And essentially she contacts detectives to report that, you know, Antonetta is trying to plan something with the case, trying to be, provide like false information or whatnot. I thought it was interesting. This happened in August, September, and the interrogation of the inmate is in December. So she's been housed with her in the jail for a couple months. And before we get into the rest of the content that I have for this series, I wanted to just touch on that and revisit that interview as well. So we're gonna read the investigation report. It is a read along. Hi, Johnny. Thanks for being here. Hi, Yashira. Thanks for being here. The giggling in the intro is cute. You were making me laugh Wednesday. Okay, so like I said, trigger warning. We will be seeing the assault. If you don't know about the case, I can sit here and talk for days about it. But go back and watch part 1. Ashley Bocanegra was assaulted and attacked for being in a relationship with someone that was compromised. And they beat her up essentially. And the injuries were devastating. So she didn't make it. She lost her life over this. We've been covering it for quite some time. It's something I'm passionate about. This is Ashley on the screen right now. And you know, my heart goes out to her and her family. I always say that in every live. This is a case of bullying. It didn't get a lot of attention. I love to cover it. This is like one of my favorite cases. I don't know why I was drawn to it, and I was lucky enough to get all the interrogation and police footage. So this is Ashley on the screen, and she was assaulted and murdered by Antonetta and Janine, who we've seen in interrogations part 2 and part 3. So you need to watch this series from part 1 to fully understand all of it. You will get essentially all the details of the case as I read this document. This lists everything. This is from the criminal investigator, and this is his narrative. This is like what he typed out to give to his bosses in the department, and it's what he basically everything we've seen in the long crime video and when we seen the interrogations videos. But we're gonna get through it. I always just think, you know, we can talk about it and watch videos and interrogations, but I like I like to hear what that person had to say specifically, right? The detective that was in charge of this case, and this is his report. So I always like to go back to the original source. Thank you, fam, for saying that. So I'm going to share it on my screen and we're going to read along. It looks like a lot, but you know, we get through stuff fast here. I have it on two different screens. So we'll go back and forth, and then I'm gonna play the fight as well. Can you guys see that? You guys can see the video if I play it for a second just to make sure. If you know, you know. If you've been here, you know we've seen parts of this already. So you guys can see that video, right? Cool. All right, let's get to the report. Trigger warning, it is pretty brutal. I'm not gonna lie. Thank you for being here, you guys. Johnny, Tipsy's amazing. My beautiful Lily, Johnny, I appreciate you. Okay, let's get started. On Thursday, August 11th, 2022, Detective Araya was assigned to investigate Gwinnett Police case number, etc. The homicide and assault unit received an update on the case around 10:40 p.m. and he was informed that Northside Gwinnett Hospital in Georgia contacted police to report a patient that had passed away from her injuries she had sustained from a fight. I reviewed the call and report for this case. The report was documented by Corporal Amrin, and the following was learned about the incident. Gwinnett County 911 Center received a call around 12:57 p.m. in the afternoon by the leasing manager, Dana. Dana was employed at the apartment complex located at, they list the address, at the time of the reported incident. Leasing manager reported seeing 3 girls fighting in the street in front of a building, and she noticed one of the females, who was wearing a black shirt and green tights, was bleeding from the forehead. She was described as a Hispanic or white female. The leasing manager saw the other female and said the other female was a black female wearing a white t-shirt and black or green tights. The third female was described by Rideout as a white or Hispanic female wearing a navy blue shirt and gray sweatpants. Officers were dispatched to the incident location on an aggravated domestic call due to the fight still being active when the call was created. Dana then reported the leasing manager at 1 p.m. the fight had stopped, but they were all still arguing. Leasing manager saw the females walk towards the building, and she saw the female following the other 2, and one was bleeding. The leasing manager returned to the leasing office when the fight stopped. Officer King spoke to the residents inside apartment 317. The officer spoke to Antonetta, who's the one we know that threw the punches, her boyfriend Daniel, and Daniel's sister Janine, who was the other one who's responsible for filming the fight, the assault. Corporal Anaheim documented the following report after speaking to the residents in the apartment. When Corporal responded to the apartment complex, a tenant building number 300 informed the officers that 3 females walked into the apartment 317. Corporal knocked on the door and met with Antonetta Stevens and her boyfriend Daniel. Corporal saw a small scratch under Stevens' right eye, and Mr. Gonzalez had visible injuries all over his shoulders and back. Stevens told the officers that she and another female got in a fight outside the apartment. Stevens said she recently learned her fiance, Mr. Gonzalez, was having an affair with his manager. Stevens said that she was who she was fighting with outside. Stevens said the female showed up to her apartment looking for him, so she went downstairs and they fought it out. Stevens said she would do it again if the female showed up to her apartment, and she said after the fight she went back to her apartment and went inside. Stevens said the other female returned and they began to go at it again, and Mr. Gonzalez had to get in the middle to separate the 2. And if you've been watching the series and the interrogation videos, we know she's lying, right? This is a lie right here. So keep that in mind. I'm going to play the fight. I'm going to start the fight in just a few seconds. Corporal went to speak to Mr. Gonzalez to get a statement from him. Mr. Gonzalez did not have much to say and said officers were not needed. Mr. Gonzalez would not clarify where the injuries came from on his body and said it was nothing. Corporal noted that she suspected Mr. Gonzalez had sustained his injuries when he was attempting to separate Stevens and the other girl. Mr. Gonzalez said the other female's name was Ashley. The corporal then spoke to Mr. Gonzalez's sister, Janine, and she stated she was downstairs when Stevens and Bocanegra were fighting. She stated they were fighting together over her brother, Mr. Gonzalez. Stevens told officers she did not call police because she handled it. She stated she did not want anything done and she would call if the female returned. Stevens said the fight was mutual between her and the other female. Stevens did not want to prosecute, and the other female never called the police. Well, we know what happened, right? Ashley didn't call the police because she had to go to the hospital. Hey, Mike. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Lily, my beautiful Lily, for being here. Crime Remember. Oh, thank you, Crime Remember. Hey, beautiful. I'm here looking. Do not feel good. I'm going to listen. You know, Ashley's smiling down on you. Says thank you for sharing her story with dignity. I appreciate that, Crime Remember. I do, and I hope you feel better, love. Okay, I'm gonna play the fight. We're gonna go back and forth, just so that because it's like a YouTube thing. I don't want to play. I can't play it, and it's not redacted. This version that I have, we saw the redacted version on the Law and Crime video, but the one that I have is straight from the police department. So, it's brutal. So this is Antonetta and Janine plotting to lure Ashley so that they could fight her to the back of the apartment complex.
If you walk away, oh, she can't get away. I'm gonna still run after her and be.
So this is them waiting for Ashley to get there so that they can jump her.
Where's she at? She's walking to the park. Hold the phone now.
Why would you want to record this? I'm curious.
By the pool? Oh. I got that. Yeah, I got this.
Listen to the words she said that she's assaulting Ashley, beating her to death.
Oh, nah. This sounds crazy, bitch. My leg hurt. I'm gonna bust my ass, bitch. I'm getting down like this. There you go. Oh, 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 I'm about to fall. Oh, oh, oh. All right, bro, where are we going? What's this? Oh, so she gonna be coming down here?
Sorry, it's moving like that. This is the actual footage that was on her cell phone. So it's like, this is like real and wrong. I can't believe this every time I watch it.
Yeah. We've been crying for 5 minutes now. You know I'm on Instagram. This, look at it, right there, right there. That's what, baby. That was cool, you know. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. 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 Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna switch back to the report. I know I can't play it in full because I might get flagged. Back to the report. Body-worn camera footage from Corporal while on the scene. When reviewing Corporal Amarine's body-worn camera footage while on the scene of the call, Stevens answered the door and said a girl had come to her house and she had been sleeping with her fiance, Daniel. Stevens claimed that the girl kept forcing her fiance to have sex with Ashley after supposedly calling it off, or the girl was going to fire him. Stevens said they ended up fighting outside on the street because the girls approached her home. Stevens said she was the one who fought the other girl, but her sister-in-law, Janine, who was the one recording the fight, was out there with her. Stevens appeared to be out of breath from the fight. When Corporal entered the apartment, she asked Mr. Gonzalez if he saw anything. Mr. Gonzalez claimed he was sleeping when the altercation occurred. Corporal asked Stevens to explain the incident again. Stevens said Mr. Gonzalez had been sleeping with his manager at the business, Floor and Decor. Stevens said when she found out that her fiance was sleeping with another girl, she became enraged. Corporal asked Stevens if the other woman arrived at the apartment to fight, and Stevens responded by saying the other woman was on her way to meet with Mr. Gonzalez, and she caught her and stated, "I beat her up." Stevens told Corporal the other woman did sustain visible injuries from the fight. Stevens said after the fight was over, the other woman got up and she said she was done and she walked away. Stevens said after she and Janine returned to the apartment, the other woman was knocking on the door because she was not finished. When Stevens was describing the other female, she said she was a Hispanic female with black hair. She was 30 years old and she was about 80 pounds. Corporal asked Stevens about her injuries. Stevens said she sustained minimal injuries because she was a pretty good fighter. Stevens said she was not going to go out and look for her because she had already handled her business. Detective asked Stevens if she wanted to prosecute for the fight, and Stevens said she did not and believed the other woman had enough. Stevens added, "I wish she could fight. If you're going to cheat on somebody, know how to fight," suggesting the other woman did not put up a fight against Stevens. Stevens said she would call the police if the other woman returned, but if the other woman does not leave, she was going to beat her up again. I'm just letting you guys know. So does everyone that cheat assault people and brutally assault them to death? Question. Like, no. And is it even worth it? Like, there's so many guys. I'm really, we've been here, right? This is part 6. We already know everything. We know the truth. That's why I wanted to read this at the very end, because like this is, the first few days that the crime happened, and we've already seen interrogation videos. We know what happened. We know the truth, right? But words are very telling when she says, I'm going to beat her up again if she shows up. And it was intentional. I think they both should have got life in prison. It's very sad that they didn't. And Ashley lost her life. So I'm going to read a little bit more and then we'll go back to the fight. Yes, Big Girl for Life. Thanks for being here. This case is insane. Very. And I'm very passionate about it. Ashley deserves justice, and she didn't deserve this. She didn't get to say goodbye to her son. She got beat up, had to go to the hospital. I can play those videos again, to and before the hospital. We've seen him here twice. You have to go back and watch parts 4 and 5. So let's move on. I want to make sure I'm on the right page for you guys. Officers never spoke to Ashley when officers were in the apartment complex due to Ashley returning to her apartment and being transported to Northside Hospital. When Ashley arrived at the hospital, the nurse was concerned with Ashley's injuries and decided to call the police. The call came in to the Gwinnett County Center, and the call was created at 3:07 p.m. The ER nurse advised 911 operator that a patient at the hospital was a victim of physical assault and she had been treated at the emergency room. The nurse identified the patient/victim as Ashley. Nurse said the assault happened in Georgia, and she observed a large bruising on Ashley's face, head, and upper torso. She reported that Ashley had a possible collapsed lung. Ashley was also scanned for any possible brain injuries. And we know she lost her life due to damage to her adrenal gland, liver, damage to her liver, and damage to her neck and head. from being slammed against the concrete. Officer King was dispatched to the call and spoke to Ashley while on the phone while she was still at the hospital. Ashley told officers she was outside her apartment waiting for a taxi when two females approached her, and she said, quote unquote, she matches the description. Ashley said one of the females was a black female. Ashley said the black female tackled her to the ground, which caused her to hit her head on the ground. Ashley said the black female was on top of her, holding her down, while the other female was kicking the crap out of her repeatedly. Officer asked Ashley what were the injuries she sustained from the assault. Ashley said she had cuts on her face, legs, and back. Ashley said she was bitten on the face and arm, and she was having difficulty breathing while speaking to the officer. Ashley claimed she did not know who the females were, and it was a mistaken identity. Ashley did not have any further information to add to the report. So Ashley didn't even know these people. She doesn't even know what's going on. She was seeing Daniel, who was in a relationship, and she was in a relationship. So essentially they were being unfaithful to their partners. Is it worth someone losing their life? No, I don't think so. I'll let you guys comment on that. So let's watch part of the fight again. I'm going to just speed it up because I know it's violating YouTube policies.
Oh, really? Mitch, are you stupid? Stupid. Fucking crazy. Yeah, she really is. Get the fuck. Really? Yo,
This is Ashley on the bottom, obviously.
Yep.
Antonetta's on the top.
You crazy. Super. Ready to die over dick? Real crazy. Yep, you are. Yo. Hey, say hi to Daniel. Say hi to Daniel. Get the fuck up. You know he said I could come out here and fuck you up, right? You know that, right? He's in the house with our son, bitch. He said I could fuck you up. Yep, that's what we do. If I get mad and he knows I'm leaving, he's so sad. He says, all right, you fuck her up. That's what I'm doing. Fucking you up. All right. You done up? No. 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 Take it. And put away the phone. Yeah.
And that's a lie, right? We know Daniel didn't send her. She lured Ashley, and Daniel didn't want to be with her. How mad are you guys? Like, for those of you who have known this since part 1, it's devastating. Detectives with the let's go back to the report. Detectives with the homicide assault unit informed of the incident. Ashley was transported to the hospital in Lawrenceville and passed away at the hospital around 10 p.m. in the evening. The homicide assault unit received a phone call around 10:40 p.m. in the evening, and the unit was updated on Ashley's status. I reviewed the domestic call that came in at 12:57 p.m. and the document by corporal. I then reviewed the call that was created at 3:07 p.m. and obtained a copy of the report documented by officer. I was told Ashley's fiance, Julian, was at the hospital and that Detective Blackburn and I were going to meet with him. Sergeant and Detective Carter of the homicide assault unit went to Preston Hills apartments to make contact with Stephen and Ms. Gonzalez to ask them to come back to the police headquarters to talk about the altercation that occurred earlier that day. Meeting with Julian at the hospital. Julian is Ashley's fiance, and we saw that in part 5? Yeah, it's part 5. We saw we've seen Julian in part 3 and 5. You have to watch the series to watch his reaction interrogation to the case. I arrived at the hospital. This is a criminal investigation report. My apologies. I'm reading it and we're referring back to the fight as we go through the report. So this is from the criminal investigator that was assigned to the case. I arrived at the hospital and spoke to Julian just after 11 p.m. I was equipped with my body-worn camera and recorded the conversation. I asked Julian if the doctors had told him what happened to his fiancée, Ashley. Julian said the doctors told him they found a lot of fluid in Ashley's lung. Julian said that trauma that Ashley sustained caused a lot of damage and there was a lot of bleeding found inside of her. The fluid buildup was making it difficult for Ashley to breathe, and Julian noticed she had difficulty breathing. Julian said when the doctors transported her from Forsyth County to the hospital in Gwinnett, there was a lot of buildup in which caused her to flatline a couple of times. Julian said the last time she went out, the doctors could not bring her back. I knew before arriving at the hospital that Julian left for work early when Ashley called him to tell him she was assaulted. I know Reyes arrived at the apartment and drove her to the hospital in Forsyth County. I asked Julian what the initial conversation was like when he first received the call from Ashley. Julian said she had told him that two females had assaulted her, but she told Julian that she did not recognize them. Ashley told Julian one of the females was dark-skinned, heavy-set woman, and the other woman was a light-skinned woman. Julian said that was the only descriptions she gave him, and he said he asked her if she knew them or if she had seen them before. Ashley told him no. She did not know them and she had no clue who they were. Ashley told Julian the two females looked suspicious. Julian noted when he was talking to her on the phone, she was out of breath as she spoke to him. Ashley tried to tell Julian what happened, but she had to say, quote unquote, hold on, I can't breathe. Julian asked her what happened, and she responded by saying she got jumped. Julian told her he was on the way home. When I asked Julian why Ashley left the apartment, he said she told him she was going to wait for an Uber to go to the store and buy him a cake for his birthday. I feel like I want to play for you guys real quick. We've seen him before, the video of Ashley after this fight. I want to play it after I play the fight. I feel like we need to touch back on that. I'm obsessed with this. Let's go back to the fight.
Nope. How do you? How do you, bitch? 30. 30 and told me. Yeah, he told you. Go, tell me everything.
My love.
Nope.
Thank you for
No, you ain't got shit. You don't get to say my man, right? You want to be in front of my man, right? Right? You his manager? I'm getting you fired, bitch. That's bias. That's the conflict of interest.
Let me say hi to the people that just popped in. Hi, Jojo. Guilty of crime. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Happy October 1st. We're reviewing Ashley case. If you know, you know. I appreciate you being here. Everyone follow Guilty of Crime if you don't already follow her. Need I say more? No, you already know. She's great.
To the job. You're fucking my nigga while he's on the clock. Fucking my nigga going there trying to ruin his family. Bitch, he has the whole son. You're getting fired. You're getting fucking fired. You're getting fucking fired.
Yeah, you're okay. I'm done.
You're getting fucking...
I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody get jumped.
Yeah, nobody get jumped.
We jumping her for the phone.
I'm done.
Nope.
I'm done.
We're jumping you.
I'm done.
We're jumping. You want the phone?
I'm done.
Fight both our asses. You want the phone? Fight both our asses, bitch. You fucked up. And you give me the phone. You're a proud side hoe. Get the fuck out of my face. Nope, you're not getting it. You're jumping both of us for your phone. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. No. No, I don't care if you're done. Go away. Go away. No, report is stolen, bitch. Go. Go. Get out of my face.
I mean, I'll have to cut some of that out. Sorry, but I'm just showing you guys a raw interview. Reality sucks, right? Sometimes, even for us as people, when talking about our own experiences and trauma, it's hard. It's hard to talk about the truth and reality and recognize it. It's part of being human. It just is what it is. This is what happened, and people need to know, and this is what bullying led to. And I guess YouTube, whatever their policies are, I'll deal with it when it comes. So let's get back to the report. When Julian arrived at his apartment, he saw Ashley lying on her back on the bed and gasping for air. Julian said Ashley had taken her clothes off, which had blood stains on them. Julian said he noticed all the bruises and injuries on Ashley's body. Ashley had not showered or treated her injuries. Julian helped her get dressed, and he got her to the car to take her to the hospital in Forsyth. On the way to the hospital, Julian said that Ashley told him one of the girls bit her on the cheek and arm. So for us who are true crime junkies, like biting, we know, right? That's like, it's very personal. That's monstrous. I just, I can't help but think about that. Like, why are you biting her? This is just so brutal. Ashley said while the big heavy-set girl was on top of her, the other girl was kicking her on the ribs. Julian said when they arrived at the hospital, the doctor told him after they scanned her for any internal injuries, they located blood by the kidneys. Julian said that when they flew her to the hospital in Gwinnett County, Julian believed when the other girl kicked her by the rib cage, that would cause the internal bleeding. I asked Julian if Ashley mentioned anything about any of the girls being armed with a weapon. Julian said there was no mention of anyone having a weapon. They were just fighting. Julian said Ashley told him everything happened so fast that she did not have time to do anything. Julian said they ganged up on her and he did not know why. I mean, Julian, it's his birthday and he's at the hospital. His fiance just lost her life. He didn't know she was being unfaithful with Daniel. And he has like no idea. We saw that, right? In the last part, we saw Julian at the hospital, the interview. So like for us looking back on it now, it's just so brutal. Are you guys freaking out? Yeah, Jay. Guilty of Crime says, I bet they wish they didn't do that. Yeah, I don't have kids, but for you guys who have kids, is it worth a fight to lose 20 years of your life or even possibly life for like a fight? I just feel like you're leaving. Ashley lost her life and she had a son. And then Antonetta, who beat her up and assaulted her, she had 2 kids. So 3 kids were left without a mother. I just feel like that's not right in any sense. Reyes told me, Julian told me they had just moved back to Georgia from New York less than a year ago, and he did not know anyone who would want to harm Ashley. Julian confirmed she was working at Floor & Decor right next to the apartment complex. I asked Julian where the assault happened, and he said it was because it was his birthday. Ashley told him she was going to order an Uber and go out and buy him a birthday cake. Julian said she went outside but was not sure exactly where on the street she was waiting at. I asked Julian if he was in the possession of Ashley's cell phone. Julian said it was in his vehicle and he knew the passcode to the cell phone. I told Julian the Uber application on her cell phone could show us where her location was, and Julian said he would hand over her cell phone to us. I asked Julian what time Ashley called him. He said he had the Ring doorbell and he had that recording with Ashley leaving the apartment before the assault, returning to the apartment after the assault, and leaving the apartment again to go to the hospital. And we saw that footage, right? I'm going to replay it again tonight. Julian looked up to the video and said Ashley left the apartment at 12:41 p.m. He said he received a call from Ashley at 1:05 p.m. and she was walking back to the apartment. The Ring doorbell video showed Ashley return to the apartment complex at 1:07 p.m. in obvious pain. Julian arrived at the apartment at 1:44 p.m. and at 1:15 p.m. they exited the apartment to drive to the hospital. Julian said Ashley was throwing up and the liquid appeared to be red. The detective asked Julian if he had known why all this happened, and Julian said he asked her and she told him she had no idea why. I asked Julian if she said anything in the car while on the way to the hospital. Julian said she was laying down in the back of the car and kept saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. I am seeing stars. Oof. I'm going to play this video of Ashley arriving home.
I'm doing you dirty. Get out of my face.
replay that again.
Hello?
So that's Ashley arriving at the home. We just read the investigation report. This is her right after the fight. You can already tell she doesn't feel good. Do you hear her like moaning in the background of pain?
Hello?
I can't. Detective asked Julian if he recognized the two girls with the description that was given by Ashley. Julian said he did not know anyone at the apartment complex or anyone else who matched that description. Julian confirmed Ashley did not have any known issues at her job site. Reyes' father arrived at the hospital, and Detective and I stepped out, informed the sergeant and detective, and transported two females from apartment 317 back to the police headquarters. Julian's father stepped out of the room and he approached us. His name was Marcus, and he told us his daughter knew that Ashley was speaking to another male that also worked at Floor & Decor. Marcus said the girlfriend of the female knew about their relationship and became jealous. Marcus told me they all live in the same apartment complex. Marcus said his daughter, Christy, and Ashley were best friends. Marcus said Ashley confessed it all to Sands, but no one told Julian about it yet. Marcus said the girlfriend of the other male that worked at the Floor & Decor arrived at the job site and had an argument with her boyfriend after she found out he was talking to another girl. Ashley told all this to the detective to the father-in-law after it occurred. Detective Blackburn stayed with Reyes at the hospital and downloaded the Ring doorbell footage video evidence. The detective retrieved Ashley's cell phone for evidence along with the clothing she was wearing at the hospital and her clothing she wore during the assault. I left the hospital and returned to the police headquarters to speak to the two females from apartment 317. On August 12, 2022, Sergeant and Detective arrived at the Preston Hills apartments at 11:20 p.m. in the evening, and they went to apartment 317 to make contact with Gonzalez and her brother and Stevens. Gonzalez was with Stevens when the detective told them they knew about the incident that had happened earlier. Stevens responded, "Yeah," understanding the incident was being mentioned by Detectives told Stevens and Gonzalez that the girl they fought went to the hospital and she died at the hospital. The detective told him she knew there was an altercation with the girl earlier in the day. Stevens said, "Yeah, that was mutual, and she came here," referring to Ashley walking back to her apartment. Detective told them they would need to come to the headquarters and give an official statement due to the girl dying. Stevens said it was not her intention to kill the other girl. Daniel arrived shortly after while Detective Carter was speaking with Stevens and his sister. Stevens and Gonzalez agreed to go to the police headquarters and talk to detectives. Sergeant was speaking to Mr. Daniel and asked him to come up to the police headquarters as well. Daniel said he was not involved in the altercation and he was sleeping in his bedroom when the fight happened. There were young children inside the apartment, and Mr. Gonzalez was going to stay in the apartment with the children. He said Stevens was his girlfriend and that Ashley was the other girl he was having a relationship with. Daniel told the sergeant and detective he works overnight and he was sleeping in his bedroom on the day of the fight. Daniel said that while he was asleep, Antonetta took his phone and began texting Ashley. Daniel said Antonetta was pretending to be him and she texted Ashley, quote unquote, "My wife kicked me out. Can you meet me?" Daniel said Steven used their emotional connection to lure her out of the apartment. Daniel said he was still sleeping with Stevens and when Stevens and his sister walked out of the apartment to confront Ashley. Daniel stated that once Antonetta and his sister lured her outside, they fought her. Daniel believed that was what happened because Ashley returned to their apartment and he answered the door after she knocked on it. Antonetta approached the door and began yelling at Ashley. Daniel was in between Ashley and Antonetta to keep them separated. Ashley was standing on the outside of the apartment and she was asking for her cell phone back. Ashley was not trying to engage with Stevens. Daniel said Antonetta and his sister took Ashley's cell phone while they had their altercation outside. Daniel noticed that Ashley had visible injuries to her face. He went to grab Ashley's cell phone to return it to her. Antonetta threw the cell phone belonging to Ashley, and Mr. Gonzalez went to retrieve it and he returned it to her. Sergeant asked Daniel if the messages that were sent to Ashley's cell phone were still in his phone. Daniel said he attempted to look at the messages, but Antonetta had deleted the messages. Daniel was searching through Stevens' messages on his cell phone and they were deleted. The detective asked to see his cell phone and he handed his cell phone to the detective and he gave consent for her to look through the messages. Detective was able to locate messages from Daniel to Ashley when Stevens was messaging her. The detective located a message from Ashley that stated, "Your effing sister kicked me in the back by my heart and chest." The detective located all the messages that were sent to Ashley and downloaded the messages to evidence. Mr. Daniel asked if Ashley was okay or if she was hurt bad. Sergeant told Daniel that he received a phone call from the hospital that Ashley had passed away. Daniel became hysterical and upset when he heard the news. Daniel's phone was returned to him after the messages were uploaded. Stevens and the sister Gonzalez were transported to the police headquarters while Daniel stayed at the apartment complex with the children. So we've already seen these interrogation videos, right, of Daniel and him reacting to the news of the death. I'm going to share the fight again. We're going back and forth, getting through the investigative report.
Getting fucking fired.
Listen.
You're getting fucking fired.
Yeah, you can do it from there. I'm done. I'm
You're
done.
getting fucking.
I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
You done?
Jumpy, you want the phone? Fight both our asses. You want the phone? Fight both our asses, bitch. You fucked up. And you knew what you give me your phone. You're a proud side hoe. Get the fuck out of my face. Nope, you're not getting it. You're jumping both of us for your phone. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. No. No, I don't care if you're done. Go away. Go away. No, report it stolen, bitch. Go. Go. Get out of my face. I'm doing you dirty. Get out of my face. You're not getting no phone. I'm from the block, bitch. I don't know you're not. Fucking lie.
So trashy. I can't get over it. Going back to the report, when I arrived at the police headquarters, I was updated on what was found in Daniel's cell phone. I learned that Ashley may have been lured out of her apartment so Antonetta and Janine could fight her. The messages also informed me that Daniel did play a bigger role in the fight due to Ashley texting Daniel that his sister was kicking her. I went to speak to Antonetta first in the interview room. The interview was audio and video recorded, and that's in part 3 of this series. So you guys can go back and watch the full interrogation videos, part 2 and part 3. I told Stevens I was made aware of the incident earlier and I was gathering all the information that led up to the fight. I read Antonetta her Miranda rights from a card I kept on me. Antonetta stated she understood her rights and she wanted to speak to a lawyer before answering any of my questions. I then went to speak to Daniel in the interview room. The interview was audio and video recorded. Daniel told me she was Gonzalez, Janine, so the sister of Daniel. Janine told me she was visiting her brother and Stevens from Buffalo, New York. I told Janine I knew about the incident and I was trying to get her side of the story. I read Janine her Miranda rights and she stated she understood her rights and she stated she wanted to speak to us. I asked Janine to tell me what happened. Janine said she went to start from the beginning to where everything led to. Janine said since she had been in Georgia, Stevens and her brother had not been in good terms. Janine said they were arguing constantly. Janine said her brother, Daniel, had an altercation with Stevens' stepfather when they were visiting them in Florida for Stevens' mother's wedding. Janine said her brother and Antonetta's family had a falling out and they no longer liked him, and that caused more arguing between Antonetta and her brother. Janine said she knew her brother was cheating on Stevens because he told her. Janine said her brother told her who he was cheating with and described what she looked like. Janine said her brother told her the girl was a skinny girl with curly hair. Janine said she considered Stevens more like a sister than she did her brother as a brother. Janine said she went to Stevens and told her what her brother told her. She then stated her and Antonetta walked to the Quick Trip near the apartment complex on August 10th, 2022. Janine and Antonetta saw Janine's brother Daniel with the girl he described he was seeing. Antonetta approached Daniel and the girl at the Quick Trip. She said there was a huge verbal argument and she and her brother tried to calm Antonetta down. Janine said she approached the other girl and began talking with her. Janine said she noticed the girl also worked at the same business her brother worked at. She was unsure if the girl was just a coworker or his manager. Janine told the girl, Ashley, Janine told the girl, Ashley, she matched the description of the girl her brother was cheating with. So now it is a problem. Janine said the girl told her, what does that have to do with me? Janine said the girl was pretending not to be aware of what she was talking about. Janine said everyone was on their way after confronting the girl and her brother. Janine said there was no physical fight that day. Let's check back with you guys. What do you have to say? Fem, it's easy to ignore the systematic factors involved, right? Mike, I'm a junkie for understanding people, especially in true crime. There's so many things that cause people, yes, to do certain things. Hi, Jenna. Thanks for being here. Sweet and salty. I appreciate you guys for being here. Okay, I'm going to read the rest of this page and then we'll watch part of the video. Janine said her brother returned to the apartment on August 11th, 2022, and he went to sleep at 10 a.m. after working the overnight shift. Janine said she went to get her brother's cell phone and showed Antonetta the messages between her brother and Ashley. Janine first stated they contacted the other girl and they all agreed to meet outside to fight. We knew that was not the truth, and we told her we saw the text messages on her brother's cell phone. Janine then changed her story and said Antonetta started messaging Ashley through her brother's phone and told her that her brother was being kicked out. Janine claimed she did not know what messages were being sent, and it was Antonetta who was texting Ashley. Janine said she and Antonetta exited the apartment and they met up with the girl outside. Janine said Stevens began fighting Ashley and they fell on the ground. Janine said Ashley was telling Antonetta her man did not want her. Janine admitted to hitting Ashley while she was on the ground, and she took Ashley's cell phone after Antonetta told her to grab the phone. Janine said she and Antonetta were planning on contacting Ashley's fiance to let him know about the affair as well. Janine said they returned to the apartment with a cell phone, but they did not contact anyone with Ashley's phone. I mean, is this so brutal? I can't. I'm going to go back to the fight. I'm going to like rewind it so we see when they're like waiting to lure Ashley. I think it's critical to the report that we're reading.
Look out for it, bitch. That was me, you know. Yeah. Yeah. What fucking I did? Yeah, she really is. Get off my hair, bitch. You gonna get your ass beat though. Yep, you are. Fucking pattern, bitch.
Janine had stated she had been in several fights in the past and never heard anyone talking back while losing a fight. Janine also said Ashley never let go or put away her cell phone when Antonetta approached Ashley to fight. Janine said she did not want to hit Ashley too much because Ashley was a small woman and the fight was between Antonetta and Ashley. Janine confirmed they lured Ashley outside by messaging her through her brother's cell phone. I told Janine that Ashley did not know she was being lured outside to fight Antonetta. Janine agreed that Ashley did not know she was walking into a fight. Janine said after they arrived at the apartment, Ashley walked up to the apartment. Janine said her brother had woken up and answered the door and saw Ashley. Janine said she stayed in the back of the apartment and did not get involved between her brother and Antonetta and Ashley. Janine said she and Stevens each changed clothes after the fight. Janine said she was wearing a blue t-shirt and some gray sweatpants when she went to fight Ashley. I went back to the fight between Ashley and Antonetta and asked Janine what she did while Ashley was on the ground. Janine said she pulled Ashley's hair. She said she got hers in, referring to participating in the assault with Antonetta. Janine denied stomping or kicking Ashley. At the conclusion of the interview, I informed Antonetta that I informed Antonetta that they were being charged with robbery for taking Ashley's cell phone. So on top of murder, they were charged with robbery for taking her cell phone. Aggravated battery for the injuries Ashley sustained from their fight, and felony murder due to Ashley dying as a direct result from the injuries she sustained from the fight. Crime scene investigator captured photos of Janine Gonzalez. The cell phones belonging to Antonetta and Janine were kept by me for the evidence of the police headquarters. They were both placed into handcuffs and transported to the county jail. I spoke to the judge on duty via video call and informed him of the incident. I told the judge Ashley did not mutually agree to fight both Janine and Antonetta, and instead was lured out and confronted by Stevens and Janine. Ashley believed she was going to meet up with Daniel, and she was surprised when she saw two girls. Ashley had been messaging Daniel back when she saw his sister approaching her. There was a text message from Ashley to Daniel letting him know she saw his sister just prior to the fight. Ashley still believed Daniel was going to meet her outside, and she was not prepared to fight anyone. Janine and her brother confirmed Ashley's phone was taken away from her and brought back to Stevens' apartment in order to call Ashley's fiance. Daniel admitted taking the cell phone away from Antonetta, taking the cell phone away after Stevens told her to take Ashley's phone away. So they were fighting over Ashley's phone, Daniel and Antonetta, and they're a couple. Janine and Antonetta acted together when robbing Ashley of her cell phone. Antonetta was the last person in possession of the cell phone between throwing it at Daniel to return the cell phone back to Ashley. When the hospital reported the injuries Ashley sustained from the assault to police, they noticed internal bleeding from the scan they issued. The witnesses and Ashley's last message to Daniel confirmed Antonetta and Gonzalez were physically assaulting Ashley while she was pinned on the ground. The witness and Ashley's text message revealed that Janine had been kicking Ashley as Stevens was punching her. When I explained how a developed probable cause for each arrest warrant, the judge agreed, and there was enough probable cause through my verbal statement and affidavit to grant me the arrest warrants. The judge signed the following warrants against Janine and Antonetta, which were aggravated battery, robbery, and felony murder. How brutal. Hey, Ken. Thanks for being here. Yes, Emery, I agree with you. Thank you for being here. Guilty of crime while they're already serving it, so 85% of 2 years. Wow, not bad. Yeah, they got only 20 years. They've been in there since September of 2022. Well, August, if you want to be technical. Is that worth it though? Like losing your freedom and 20 years over beating some girl up when you could have just, I don't know, dated another guy, maybe? Guilty says they do, but for some reason sentencing on this crime of crime is more lenient. I didn't watch or realize the actual charges, right? Felony murder, like I feel like that's not 20 years. This was premeditated. They lured her. They texted her. I don't understand this. I'm gonna go back to the video. We're gonna play a little bit of it, and then I'm gonna finish the report. Thank you guys for being here. Again, we're here for Ashley.
Yo. Listen. You wanna get fucked up? Get up, man. Wanna get fucked up? And put away the phone. Yes. You know? No. How do you, bitch? 30? Okay. I will do worse to you. I will do worse to you. You mess with a crazy ass bitch. He knows I'm crazy. Look at your face. Looking dumb. Bitch. Okay, don't do this again, because you don't have to fight another bitch. We're jumping you. I'm done. We're jumping. You want the phone? Fight both our asses. You want the phone? Fight both our asses, bitch. You fucked up. And you. No. No, I don't care if you're done. Go.
Okay, let's finish this report. On Friday, August 12, 2022, I obtained a warrant for Antonetta's apartment in order to retrieve the clothing both Janine and Antonetta were wearing at the time of the assault. I viewed the body-worn camera from corporal video footage when the police first made contact with Janine and Antonetta. I snapped the photos of the clothing they were wearing to describe the clothing in the affidavit. I spoke to the on-duty judge, and they agreed there was sufficient probable cause to believe the clothing was inside the apartment. Detectives and I drove to the apartment complex at 5 p.m. and located, Antonetta. Detective was equipped with a body-worn camera and activated the camera. When we first met with the leasing manager, which we saw day before yesterday, right? We saw the interview with the leasing manager. So if you missed it, you have to go back and watch it. I asked leasing manager if she can tell what she saw and heard on the day of the incident of August 11th. Leasing manager said she was driving around the apartment complex in company golf cart. She said she was going down the hill when she noticed 3 girls fighting on the street. She said one of the girls standing up over the other 2. She said the girl appeared to be either Spanish or white. Leasing manager described 2 girls on the ground. The girl on top was black and the other girl was either white or Spanish. Leasing manager said when she drove past them, she told them to stop fighting and said the black girl was briefly looked up to her and then continued to fight the other girl. Leasing manager said she called 911 when she got to the bottom of the hill, and she said she saw the black girl on top of the smaller girl punching her and banging her head against the concrete. Leasing manager said the girl, Janine, was standing behind over the 2 girls, may have had a cell phone in her hands, and she had been videotaping the fight on the cell phone. Leasing manager said that what was told to her by the maintenance employee who also witnessed the fight. She confirmed she saw the girl, Janine, who was standing over the 2, kick the smaller girl, Ashley, on the ground about 2 or 3 times. Leasing manager said 2 girls jumped the smaller girl and they were hitting her while she was on the ground and not fighting back. Leasing manager said the smaller girl was just laying there and she could not tell if the girl was covering up to defend herself. She stated she did not know why the other girl had to kick the defenseless smaller girl. Leasing manager heard the African-American girl say, "Why did you come to my house?" Leasing manager said the maintenance man overheard one of the girls say something about she was sleeping with the boyfriend. When the fight stopped, leasing manager saw the smaller girl, Ashley, walking up the hill, and the other 2 girls were walking away down the hill. Leasing manager said the smaller girl, Ashley, was the victim in the fight, and she saw the victim turn around and start walking down the hill towards the other 2 girls. And we know Ashley was following them after the fight to get her phone. She saw the African-American girl turn around and push the victim, and they exchanged some more words. Leasing manager said they started fighting again, and heard the African American girl say to the smaller girl, "I will unalive you. I will unalive you." That was when the leasing manager was on the phone with 911, and she saw the victim was bleeding from her forehead. She saw all three walk towards the same building, and after the fight, she got together with the maintenance employees and they began piecing their stories together on what they saw. Leasing manager said the girl who was not fighting, Janine, was kicking the other girl and on her cell phone recording the fight. Leasing manager said she would contact the other maintenance employee to talk to us about what they saw. Daniel was not home when we knocked on the door. Detectives spoke to Daniel on the phone and the conversation was recorded. Daniel consented for us to enter the apartment if maintenance had a key to the apartment. Maintenance used a key to the apartment and they granted us access into the apartment after I showed them the search warrant. The detective captured all overall photos of the apartment, including clothing that was obtained from the search warrant. I was able to locate Antonetta's white shirt and black Adidas leggings. I also collected Janine's blue t-shirt and gray sweatpants. A copy of the search warrant was placed on the dining table. When the search warrant was concluded and the apartment was secured, the maintenance employee, Jones, met up with us to give his statement of everything he observed on the day of the fight. Jones confirmed he saw the fight between the three females and he heard one of the females yelling to the extent of, quote unquote, "screwing my man." Jones saw one of the girls did have a cell phone in her hands. When we then walked over to where the altercation happened and the detective recorded where the incident took place on the body camera. I returned to the police headquarters and returned the search warrant after speaking to the judge on video call. The clothing was submitted into evidence locker and I submitted a processing request for blood on the suspect's clothing. So sad, right, you guys? Like, so sad.
Yeah, my phone. Go away. No, report it stolen, bitch. Go. Go. Get out of my face. I'm doing you dirty. Get out of my face. You're not getting no phone. I'm from the Bronx, bitch. I don't know you're not. Fucking lying ass bitch. Where the fuck you from, bitch? Fucking liar.
I'm gonna have to like edit this after.
You're grown too.
Hey, hang on.
Why you coming to my house? Why was you walking over here? Why was you walking over to my house? Why was you doing that? You didn't even pay your own phone bill. Right? Fucking dummy. Let's go. You want it?
It's like, why do we have to censor reality on YouTube? Question mark. I mean, do I need to get on a soapbox here? Guilty of crime says, yes, I do. I didn't want kids because this stuff happened to me growing up. Jealous girls started fighting, always got called every name and didn't sleep with anyone. I'm interested, guilty of crime, when you say that, because I had a similar experience. I wonder if that has something to do with culture and like back in the day, things were so much different, right? But I had the same situation, and I'm always like, after this, I'm like, wow, I'm grateful that I never got into like fights like this. Hey, Gracie, good to see you. Jenna. Fem says she was getting him a birthday cake. Yeah, she was, and she got jumped. Okay, let's finish this. I know it's been a while that we've been reading this, but I would much rather review at the end of the interrogation videos. This is like the actual report from the investigator. So, autopsy with the doctor on Sunday, August 14th, 2022. Autopsy we went over in part 1. So if you want to see the actual raw autopsy, you can find that in part 1. And 911 audio calls and the text messages that she was lured with. Part 2 is Janine's interrogation. Part 3 is Antonetta's. Part 4 we review I can't even remember, the leasing office manager, Julian. Part 4 is Julian, I'm sorry, at the hospital. And then we review Daniel also when he finds out his lover lost her life, and we review all audio calls. And we have seen the PowerPoint of the evidence photos. So I'm going to finish this up real quick. I was contacted by medical examiner on Sunday, August 14, 2022, around 9 p.m. in the evening to inform me they were going to start the autopsy. I arrived at the ME's office and observed the autopsy. At 12:45 a.m., doctor concluded the autopsy, and I spoke to her about the findings. Doctor informed me she located superficial wounds on the liver and lungs. There was a lot of internal bleeding in the right side of Ashley's body. Doctor said the adrenal gland had been ruptured. The gland is located behind the liver under the diaphragm. Doctor said she usually sees this type of injury with severe car crashes or in child abuse cases when a lot of blunt force trauma damage is used to cause the rupture. So we went over the autopsy, and now we're seeing here what the medical examiner said. She usually sees this type of injury with severe car crashes. Why did they only get 20 years? I'm confused. Are you guys confused? I'm disgusted. Doctor said she was going to rule the autopsy as a result of homicide due to the injuries being directly sustained from the assault. On Monday, August 15, 2022, I spoke to the judge in reference to search warrant for buccal swabs to obtain DNA from Janine and Antonetta. The swabs were due to the fact that Ashley's fiance informing me he was told that Ashley was bitten by one of the females who assaulted her. I explained the probable cause to the judge, and they agreed there was sufficient probable cause to grant me the search warrant of the buccal swabs on Janine and Antonetta. On Tuesday, August 16th at 10:30 a.m., I arrived at the jail with crime scene investigator, executed the buccal swabs and fingernail swabbing. Buccal swabs were submitted into evidence and spoke to the judge. I developed a probable cause to get a search warrant for Daniel's cell phone due to the statements given by the witness stating they saw Janine on her phone during the fight. Janine's cell phone. I had probable cause to believe Janine may have recorded the fight on her cell phone. I added Ashley's cell phone number in the search warrant affidavit to obtain the text messages she was receiving from Daniel that lured her out of the apartment. It wasn't Daniel. It was Janine and Antonetta. On Tuesday, August 16th, the judge signed the search warrant. August 23rd. We're almost done, you guys. Thank you for hanging in there. One more page. On August 23rd, I received the downloaded cell phones from the lab. I reviewed Janine's cell phone and located the photos of Antonetta holding Janine's cell phone with Ashley's contact information. The photo was taken at 12:28 in the afternoon, just minutes prior to the assault on Ashley. Antonetta is seen with all her nails intact. Antonetta had 2 fingernails broken when I spoke to her in the interview room on August 12th. The photo was uploaded to evidence. The video began recording a couple of minutes prior to the assault as Gonzalez and Stevens lured Ashley outside. The video was 13 minutes long, which is the one that we're reviewing right now. And it recorded the assault on Ashley. Antonetta was seen holding Janine's cell phone as they walk around the breezeway in apartment building. Janine could be heard telling Antonetta to ask Ashley and say, "You in the boats?" Antonetta and Janine were telling Ashley where to meet. Janine could be heard telling Antonetta she can't get away because I'm still going to run away after her and beat her up. Antonetta and Janine walked behind the building up the hill by another apartment building. Antonetta asked Janine for Daniel's phone back so she could continue to text Ashley where she was at. Janine and Antonetta were on the hill between building 700 and 300. Antonetta and Janine hid by the side of the apartment building behind some bushes and waited for Ashley to walk down the hill. Janine spots Ashley walking down the hill with her cell phone in her hand and tells Antonetta, quote unquote, "Look at her right there, right there." Antonetta walks towards Ashley aggressively and in a fast pace with long strides as she tells Ashley, "Guess what, B? That was me," revealing to Ashley that she was the one communicating with Antonetta and not Daniel. When Antonetta gets close to Ashley, Antonetta slaps and grabs Ashley's hair and took her to the ground. Ashley was able to use the momentum as she went to the ground and ended up having a mounted position. Janine then grabbed Ashley's hair and pulled her off Antonetta. Antonetta got on top of Ashley and began to strike her on the face and head. Janine remained standing throughout the fight to record the video on her cell phone. Antonetta was also seen biting Ashley on her face and continued to hold her down as she struck her on the face and head. There was a pause in the fight as Ashley and Antonetta were pulling and holding each other's hairs. Antonetta told Ashley, "Are you ready to die over penis?" Antonetta continued to strike Ashley on the head with a closed fist. Antonetta then told Janine to take Ashley's shoes and cell phone. Janine walked away and recorded herself taking the shoes and cell phone that belonged to Ashley. Ashley was pleading for Stevens to get off of her, but Antonetta continued to lay on top of her and strike her on the face and head. Antonetta then stood up while holding Ashley down by her hair and stomped her midsection. Ashley was able to stand up, but Antonetta quickly spun her around while holding onto her hair and take her back to the ground. Antonetta told Ashley as she sat on the ground, "I will murder you." Stevens repeated the statement that she would unalive Ashley 5 times. Antonetta then swung again and struck her on the head as she stood standing over her. Antonetta continued to strike her multiple times on the head and tell Ashley that she could do worse. Ashley told Antonetta she was done and she was not striking back or pulling Antonetta's hair. Antonetta ignored her and continued to strike Ashley on the head as Ashley tried to cover up and defend her head. Ashley repeated multiple times she was done, but again it was ignored, and Antonetta struck her multiple times on the side of her head. Antonetta then spoke to Gonzalez and asked her, "Do you want some of this?" Janine responded by saying, "Yeah, I do." Janine could be seen in the video take several steps backwards up to the hill to wind up for a strike. Janine then runs down the hill and kicks Ashley on the left side of her body while Antonetta holds her down and restricted her from moving while Janine kicked her. Janine kicked her 2 more times on the right side of her body by her rib and chest area as Antonetta continued to hold Ashley down. Antonetta then said, "Do you want to get jumped?" Antonetta asked Janine, Is the video was over? Do you want to jump her now?" Janine responded, "Yeah, we can do that." Ashley said she was done and was tapping out. Antonetta told Ashley to go home. Antonetta and Janine began walking down the hill, and Ashley asked for her phone back. Antonetta said, "No, jump her. We are jumping her. Are you ready to die for this phone?" Antonetta told Janine to turn the video off because she was going to get jumped for this phone. Janine placed the cell phone on the ground but continued recording. When Janine placed the phone down, it recorded Janine's face as she was placing the items on the ground to get ready to jump Ashley. Antonetta refused to return the cell phone to Ashley and continued to threaten her with more violence if she tried to get her phone back. Antonetta said Ashley would have to fight her and that Janine would have to fight her and Janine for the phone. Ashley demanded for her phone to be returned to her several times. Antonetta refused to return the phone and told Ashley to report the phone stolen to police. We have 1 more paragraph. Let's finish this. Thanks, Julie, for being here. I appreciate you. We're going to finish this fight, and I'm going to finish the report.
Getting jumped for it. Wait, period.
Hold on, let me speed it up just because, the YouTubes.
Sorry, I don't care. She only beat up by both of us. Fucked up. I do this. She let me come out here and whoop her ass. She be ashamed of yourself. Come out here in the morning. I have to work the whole week. You're getting fired, bitch. Calling your corporate, saying that you're abusing your employees. You're fucking done. And employees against them.
Hey, ATS. Thanks for being here.
You're gonna come to my doorstep, you're really gonna get your ass beat. Again. Show you a great time.
I mean, did you hear what she said? Show her a great time as she loses her life. Janine and Antonetta returned to the apartment, and Antonetta entered Daniel's room. His sister, Janine, was recording when they entered the apartment. Antonetta approached Daniel and told him, quote unquote, "Daniel, your BITCH is outside. I just effed her up because I used your phone to write her and I recorded it." The video was uploaded to evidence from the statements I received from Daniel and the report that was documented by CPL. Ashley knocked on the door after the video had stopped playing to talk to Daniel and asked for her phone back. When Ashley's cell phone was returned, she walked back to her apartment and called Julian about the fight. Ashley received a text from Daniel and she told him she was good until his sister kicked her by the chest. Ashley and Janine's cell phones were submitted into the evidence locker. After reviewing the video from Janine's cell phone and seeing that she sent the video through a text to Antonetta, I developed probable cause that there was evidence of the assault in Antonetta's cell phone. On Wednesday, sorry guys, let me switch the page for you. On Wednesday, August 24, 2022, I spoke to the duty judge and explained the cause for the search warrant on Antonetta's cell phone. The judge signed off on it. On Friday, August 26, 2022, I received Antonetta's cell phone back from the computer forensics lab. I confirmed that Stevens did store and save the video of the fight with Ashley on her cell phone. Antonetta forwarded the video and still photos from the video of Ashley to Daniel. Antonetta sent a text to Daniel's cell phone after sending him the photos of Ashley during their fight and told him, "This is the trash you left me for. No ass." Laughing emoji inserted. "She talks a lot of shit even when she's getting effed up. Nah, I handled my business as a woman. Don't ever try to play me." Antonetta sent the video of her fight with Ashley to Daniel. The text messages were uploaded to evidence. Antonetta's cell phone was placed into an evidence locker at the police headquarters. No other evidence pertaining to this case was located. I spoke to the judge on September 1st, 2022 to obtain Ashley's medical records from the hospital. The judge granted me the search warrant and I served it on September 22nd, 2022 at 3:20 p.m. in the afternoon. The results of the search warrant are pending. There was no other evidence to gather on this case at the time this case was closed by arrest. So that's intense, right? We've already seen all of this, but let's finish the fight and then I want to play a video of Ashley. So this is them walking away from the fight.
Come to my doorstep, you're really gonna get your ass beat. Again. Show you a great time. Go home.
Let's go back to when she's blurred. I think it's just so creepy.
Don't be so mad for me. It wouldn't be too bad if she walked up here. It's a bigger guy. Did you see the third decoration? What's the wrong one? I got this. I got fucking 3 phones tonight. Oh, nah. This is crazy, bitch. I'm gonna bust my ass, bitch. I'm getting down like this. Oh, so she gonna be coming down here?
Can you imagine? I just like, how many times have we
We're
talked
probably for
about
5
this?
minutes now. You know what I'm
I can
saying?
never get over it.
Look at right there, right there. That's what, bitch. That was me, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys see now why Ashley's injuries were detrimental? So this is a slideshow that I made about her. This is Ashley right here on the screen. Some of the pictures that we talked about in that report, evidence of the clothing, the wounds. This is Antonetta who threw the punches. Her nails broken from fighting Ashley. This is her right here. Her booking information, 20 years, 2042. This is a sister of Daniel. Her booking, like, hello? Really? You couldn't put on some sweats? I mean, it's not the club. And then this is her right here, her booking information. And then, oh, this is the photo when they said that they had contacted Ashley by Daniel's cell phone. They took a picture of that, right? It was totally premeditated. This is Ashley's clothes and the evidence. And I thought that was interesting, just them. I always think the science stuff is interesting. This is Ashley right here. I'm going to play a little bit more of the assault, and then I'm going to play an interrogation from an inmate at the jail. This happened, they were arrested on September, and this interview is from December. So 3 months later, there's an inmate that I guess is reporting information on Antonetta about trying to get her charges lessened. So I'm going to play that, and then we'll end the live. We've gone through a lot of it.
Yeah.
This is why Ashley died right here.
Video over. You want to jump her now?
Fight.
Want to jump her now? Yeah, we could do that. That's what happens. Go home. Let's go. No, jump her. We're jumping her. You ready to die for this phone? Come on, get a jump for this phone. She get a jump. Come on, hurry up, Janine. She want to get jumped. Yeah, nobody get jumped. We jump her for the phone. I'm done. Nope, I'm done. We're jumping you. I'm done. We're jumping. You want the phone? Fight both our asses. You want the phone? Fight both our asses, bitch. You fucked up. And you give me the phone. You're a proud side hoe. Go away. No, put a stolen, bitch. Go. Go. Get out of my face. I'm doing you dirty. Get out of my face. You're not getting my phone. I'm from the Bronx, bitch. I don't know you're not. Fucking lying ass, bitch. What if you coming to my house? Why was you walking over here? Why was you walking over to my house? Why was you doing that? You didn't even pay your own phone bill. Right? Fucking dummy. Let's go. You want it, you're gonna jump for it. Wait, period. She's always. I don't care. She gonna get beat up by both of us. That's you really fucked up. I do this. You let me come out here and whoop your ass. You should be ashamed of yourself. Come out here in the morning. After you work the whole late night shit, you're getting. You're gonna come to my doorstep, you're really gonna get your ass beat. Again. Show you a great time.
I mean, what do you guys think? Should we talk? Before I pull up the last video that we're gonna review today of the inmate snitching, if you must use the terms, on Antonetta in jail. We're jumping you, right? The voices are, I know, we saw the redacted version, right? And so like when you see it raw, it's like, I don't know, I have to private this stream just because it's brutal. But I'm going to play an interview from an inmate that was housed with Antonetta in December, so 3 months after the arrest. And she's basically explaining that Antonetta and Janine are trying to get away with the charges. I thought it was interesting. So we'll play this, and then we'll touch back, and then we'll end the live.
Received the email that you wanted to talk to me? Okay, so,
I'll pull it up for you. Sorry.
I'm not gonna be asking any questions, I just want to hear what you have to say, so.
So this is an inmate.
I am in Lima, pod. I've been here since
Can you
September.
guys hear her?
And I'm in the unit with Antonetta Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
When I first got there, I was there with them both, Antonetta and Rosa, both. And I didn't know of them, of course, and I became a unit worker. So I kind of helped around the unit. And I really didn't know Antonetta at all, but by Rosa being 17, she is in she can't be with everybody else. So they keep her in the cell, and she has to have free time.
Yes, they are in the same
away
jail.
from everybody. So
Antonetta and Janine, they're on the same
kinda
jail. They're not
cooked for
housed in
her,
the
made
same
sure she
unit.
had everything that she needed, all of her toiletries, her new underwear, because she's kind of like the left out person, you know. So we always talked, and I just always made sure she was okay. I never knew what either one was for, and
Hey,
who it was
Patrick,
here
thanks
for, and
for
I never,
making it.
really cared. I was just there. And one day I went to see my lawyer, and the attorney came to see me, and then when I came out, Antonetta was there, and she said, "Oh, we have the same lawyer. I have Mr. Booker as well." So I said, "Oh, okay." So Antonetta and I started talking, not about anything in particular, but just, "Have you talked to Mr. Booker? Well, I emailed him and he hasn't responded, or he visited me, but he didn't visit you." So we just had that kind of a dialogue, just general about our attorney. Um, Antonetta wound up getting moved to India, which is the dorm that's right next to us. So that just left Rosa there. And at this point, I still don't know anything, and I didn't care to know anything about, the charges or anything
So this is the inmate house with Antoinetta when Antoinetta is trying to come up with a story so she doesn't get life in prison.
like that. But I continue to, help Rosa with whatever she needed. And one night in the middle of the night, there was like a swap where they moved Antonetta back over and took Rosa and moved her to India. They swapped them out because I guess they didn't their co-defendants and something had happened. So now Rosa's over there and Antonetta's over there. And so by me being a unit worker, there are times when I go to the other unit for supplies or whatever we need. So I would tell Rosa, Antonetta said, "Keep your head up, she loves
She
you,"
refers
whatever.
to Janine as
I
Rosa
didn't
because
know
it's her middle name.
anything about it. I didn't even know that they were codependents. I knew they were sister-in-laws, but I didn't know they were codependents. Well, our cases, you know, by us having the same lawyer, of course, me and Antonetta were in the same unit. We still communicate, have you talked to Mr. Booker and all that. Well, she had let me know she had a court date coming up for November the 30th for a bond hearing. And so I said, okay, that's good. And, how do you feel about appeals? And she said, well, I feel great. He's very confident and, things like that. And mind you, I was going to be going up for court too, so we were kind of like rooting for each other. And she came back from the bond hearing, and I was anticipating her going home based on, what she had said. So she didn't go home. She told me I didn't get a bond. I asked her, why didn't she get a bond? Because I was going for a bond hearing too. And she told me that the basis was she didn't get a bond because the victim, she didn't get a bond because one of the witnesses was her son's father. And that they felt like perhaps she can intimidate the witness because he has a son and things like that. And she said she wanted to get her son back. So I was kind of confused. Of course, at this time, I don't know what her case is. So she said my case involved a fight, and the fight resulted in, someone passing. So I said, okay. And
So this is an inmate, Mike, that was housed with Antoinetta 3 months after they got arrested. And I'm playing it because Antoinetta and Janine tried to set something up while they were locked up in jail so that they could lie and get 20 years rather than the life in prison. And this inmate is basically snitching, if you may, on Antoinetta. Antoinetta confided in her that they were going to lie about the case, and then this inmate went and reported it to detectives. So the girl who was claiming to be Antoinetta's friend in jail, another inmate, was not really her friend at all, because she's in here telling the detectives what Antoinetta was planning. It's
so
short, but I
we
just thought it
talked
was
about
interesting.
everything because I wanted to know, I've been to a bond hearing before, but I just kind of wanted to know, just the setting. And she said that there was a video that was played at the bond hearing that hurt her. And she said, I knew, so she said the video of the fight was played. So I said, well, how did that make you feel? Because she told me the family was there. I said, how did that make you feel? And she said that she wasn't worried about what was happening on the video, but she was more worried about what she said on the video. And I said, well, what did you say? And she said, I will murder you, you know. And so that's when I, you know, said, okay, well, this is like a really serious thing. So she went on to say that she wasn't really worried about getting, her lawyer was going to do a bond appeal for her to go back and get the bond because of like some technicalities. And the technicality is that whatever happened, someone said at bond hearing that, because one of her charges is malice, and she said that the attorney feels like there was someone in her court, I don't know if it was the DA or the judge, that said, we know that she didn't do this intentionally. And so because they made the statement in court that they know that she didn't do it intentionally, then there's grounds for them to be re-indicted. Anyways, to make a long story short, something had transpired and it caused the unit workers to have to go next door that same day to India. And I let Rosa know, your sister went to court, and she said, well, is she going home? Because Antonetta is telling Rosa not to accept any plea, you know, to just wait for her to get out on bond so she can get her another lawyer and get her bonded out. So I gotta go back. So when I went over there to India, I said, your sister went to court. And she said, how did it go? I said, she didn't get a bond, but she's very hopeful that, you know, things are going to work out. But you just keep your head up, you know, and just stay positive, you know, just keep reading. So I asked her, what was she reading? And, you know, just different things like that. And I said, you know, I know you're alone, but just know that God sees you, you know, and even when you think you're alone, you're not alone. And so she started to cry, and we both walked away because I started crying too. She's 17, and I have kids. So I went and talked to some other people and came back to her door, and she said, Miss Mindy, I got a plea offer. And I said, you did? She said, the offer is for life. No, she said, the offer is if I don't plead guilty, I'll get life. If I plead guilty, I will get life. And I said, okay. I really didn't know what to say to that because I didn't know, I wasn't expecting it. So then she showed me her paperwork, and I read it. Showed that the paperwork said, it didn't say what she thought it said. The paperwork really said, if you plead guilty, you get life without parole. You know, if you plead guilty before this deadline. So I said, Rosie, you need to understand what it's saying, so go back and read it slowly so that you know what it is you're reading. She told me she had seen her lawyer that day. And so, of course, she's crying, and she asked me to give parts of the discovery packet to her sister, Antonetta. So she said, I got the discovery packet and I went through and everything that they're saying is true. She said, they're saying that my kicks, you know, is the thing that, you know, caused her death. And so she was really, really scared. So I folded up the packets of the discovery and some letters that she had wrote to Antonetta but wasn't able to. So basically, they are trying to pin this on the victim's boyfriend, husband, because, so they're trying to say that they've been going back and forth for a minute, and I've kind of been just, initially I thought I was just helping them to communicate, but then I kept a letter and read it, you know, and basically they're saying that they're going to have to say that the boyfriend came home because the victim called him, and he came home and found out about some cheating that he wasn't aware of, you know, with, I guess, his wife or his girlfriend, with Antonetta's boyfriend. And because there's text messages, you know, between the two that say together. So he is basically they want to say that he caused her harm, you know, when he found out and it wasn't them that caused the harm. It wasn't the fight they had that caused the harm. But when he came home, that he read the text messages and he caused her harm, and it's the reason why he took her to Forsyth Hospital and not Gwinnett Hospital. So they've just kind of been, I've been carrying messages for them to come up with their story of their defense.
Mhm.
And Mr. Booker, which is my lawyer, and I pray that he doesn't find out that I'm talking to you because he's my lawyer and her lawyer, and that's not gonna look good, but they're basically putting this on the victim's husband, that he further did something that possibly caused the injuries. And Mr. Booker, based on the conversations that I've had with Antonetta, is going to say that so, and the fact that she didn't get medical care is going to be like the technicality that he's using to, he's won murder cases, got acquittal on murder cases before, and I believe from the conversations that we had, his wife is a medical examiner, and so he gets a lot of, you know, I don't know, medical things from her, but basically he's going to say that, number one, there's a doubt that it was him that caused the injury. There's a possibility that the boyfriend finding out about this cheating, you know, something happened in there, and that's the reason why he took her, you know, somewhere else instead of, and then that, the failure to like give proper medical care and a timely, like there were errors that were made that could have saved her life, but it wasn't the fight that ended her life. It was lack of adequate care in a certain time, you know. But I have some of the letters, and they're starting to find out that I hadn't been remembering them, but I just, at some point, you know, just didn't want to be carrying messages where they're trying to implicate somebody else. My family went through a death, you know, where somebody was responsible and they got off because of, and it's kind of pretty hurtful.
Mhm.
We just tore our family up, and just kind of seeing that, you know, I don't know if this helps or not, but I have the letters and the discovery packet and everything, but it's a lot of things in there that, just a lot of planning going on for it to go another way. And the lawyer is very confident of having the indictment dismissed, so he's filing motions to have the indictment dismissed this week or next week at motions calendar. It's just, they have a lot going on.
Appreciate that information. I'll definitely with that information to check with them. You know, we'll see what we're gonna do next from there. Okay. Again, I appreciate that
Do
information.
you want me to flush them? Because I have certain pictures and I just haven't passed it. And at this point, I kind of got scared, you know.
If you want to turn them in, or I'll get in contact with them. If you try to go on, try to look for the letters. If you still have them in your possession, we'll take them.
Did I mail them to you?
Well, you can turn them in to one of the deputies.
Well, the
If you want.
deputies are very cool with the inmates, and so I just, you know, don't want to.
I don't want to tell you what to
She's
do just now.
basically saying the
Um,
deputies don't.
If we
she
do
can't
go
trust
forward
them.
and try to go get these letters, if you still have them in your possession, then we'll work from there. If you don't, you know, it is what it is. So I don't want to tell you what to do right now with the letters. But we'll make sure I relay this information and we'll find out what we want to do.
I think the part that bothered me was just, just for going back. So Antonetta's basically telling, Rosa to stick to, the, Rosa to take the food. So she's telling her to stick to the victim's husband, possibly, doing something, causing her harm, finding out about the text messages.
Yeah.
Finding out about the cheating with her. And to, it's just a lot. It's in the letter, a lot that I just can't remember off the top of my head. But I just don't want to keep carrying the message between them.
Right.
You know? On a case that's that serious. Initially, I thought I was just keeping them in contact.
Yeah, we don't know the details of their case.
And so she's by herself and Antonetta. But like I said, those are her fear is that her kids are the ones that cause it, and Antonetta's telling her to stick to, this is what we're gonna do. And so they're kind of going over. Antonetta doesn't have the discovery package. She doesn't have it. Only Rosa does. So she's been seeing pieces of it too.
So if you didn't catch that, they're trying to say something that Daniel was the one who was ultimately responsible for finding text messages or causing this fight, which we know at this point doesn't mean anything. I'm going to replay the video of Ashley going to the hospital and Julian, and then we'll end the live there. We've already seen everything. If you're just popping in, hi, thanks for being here. This is a series, so you might be a little confused if you're not familiar with the case. Ashley Bocanegra case, she got assaulted over a man she was sleeping with or seen. This is part 6. We've done all of those parts. You have to go back and you have to watch it. There's so much. We've gone over autopsy, audio calls, text messages, interrogations, criminal investigation reports, evidence photos. We've done a lot over the case. So make sure you play parts 1 through 5. This is Ashley going to the hospital after the fight that we just saw. So she was already having like liver failure here, which is why she's like hunched over in pain and throwing up. This is right after the fight that we just witnessed on the hill. All right, and then this is Ashley leaving the apartment when she's lured by Antonetta. I'll play the text too, so we could kind of just get a little refresh. Let me share the screen. This is her thinking she's going to meet Daniel, but it ends up being Antonetta and Janine. The difference how she's walking here from the one we just saw, right? She's having like internal injuries. That's her walking to those women to beat her up. Not willingly. She thought Daniel was texting her. How sad. How sad, right? There was maybe another one I wanted to play for you. Oh yeah, we already seen this one too, but this is Julian arriving, her fiance, after he got the call that she wasn't feeling well over her injuries. So that's when he went in and found her like laying on the bed, all bruised up, beat up, etc. I mean, how brutal is this, right? I can never get over it. I'm going to play the text message and then we'll leave it there and we'll wait for the next part. I have a lot more coming up on this case. We're definitely not done. If you thought we were done, we're not. There's a lot. I have a lot to come up and show you guys. It's gonna get spicier. Let me know. This is the text message she was lured with. I'm going to read it to you guys. It's Daniel's the blue, and she's obviously the other color. She says, "LOL, I'm in bed. I want you here so bad." And Daniel, which is Antonetta, responds, "Meet me. I'm going through it. I got kicked out." And she says, "Are you serious? Like, let me put something on real quick." And he said, I'm outside. And she says, "Okay, about to come now." And he says, "How long?" It's coming from Daniel's phone, but it's Antonetta luring her. And she says, "I'm grabbing my keys. I'm downstairs." "Where you at?" And he says, "Hold on, I'm getting my shit. I'll be there." And she says, "Okay." And he says, "Meet me in the back. I want no problems." And Ashley says, "Okay." And Daniel's phone says, this is too much. I'm going through it." And Ashley says, "I'm really sorry." And then Daniel's phone says, "You there?" And she says, "LOL, I got feet." And he says, "Sorry, baby." And she says, "I was going to go through the back of the building, but dogs be back there, LOL." And he said, which is Daniel's phone, which is Janine and Antonetta, "Okay, go to the boats. I don't see you. I need some PUSSY too." And Ashley responds, "Oh, I just went all the way around, LOL, wasn't trying to go by you." And then Daniel's phone responds, "Nah, you good. She packing." Like Antonetta was leaving. She found out that he was cheating. And Ashley says, "So WTF, she kicked you out? Is she leaving?" And then Daniel's phone says, "She's crazy, bruh." And Ashley says, "I'm so mad for you." And Daniel's phone says, "Where you at, baby?" Oh, and hold on, let me pull up the next one. How disgusting. How disgusting. How disgusting. She was lured in this way. I can never get over this case. Let me see if I can show you guys the rest of it here. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find the next part where I can only get it together. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is a part where she tells him about her injuries, and then we'll be done with the live. So let me just share. Sorry, the police department sent them all separately. So she says, "I'm so mad for you." And Daniel's phone says, "Where you at, baby?" And she says, walking, LOL, almost there. I'm coming. You got me out here looking crazy, LOL. Daniel's phone says, I don't want to see her. Which way you coming? And then Ashley responds, where you at? And Daniel's phone says, I'm on foot too. And Ashley says, oh, okay, LOL. Daniel's phone says, where you at? And Ashley responds, I'm almost near the park area. And Daniel's phone responds, okay. And then Ashley says, where you at? And Daniel's phone says, by the boats. Ashley says, okay, I see your sis. And Daniel's phone responds, Ashley. And Ashley responds, what? And Daniel's phone responds, please. Okay, this was after the fact. So Ashley said, I see your sis. And then the text stopped. That's when she got jumped. And then Daniel, after the fight, texts her and says, Ashley. And she says, what? And Daniel says, please, you okay? And Ashley says, LOL. And then Daniel says, can I see you? The cops are here. You want to tell them? And Ashley says, no, I'm good. Leave me alone. I'm dealing with this. And Daniel says, please talk to me. And she says, my face is all effed up. I can't breathe. And Daniel says, FUCK text talking to me. Oh, FUCK texting, talk to me. Can I get you, please? And Ashley says, why was it a whole setup? And Daniel says, can you pick up for me? I don't want to call you and seem like I'm harassing you. Please pick up. And Ashley says, I really don't want to talk right now. And he says, Ashley, can I see you, please? And Ashley responds, I can't breathe and my heart is skipping beat. I'm going to urgent care. I think she said, I don't want to talk to you. Bye. And Daniel said, no way, please. And Ashley says, your effing sister kicked me in the back by my heart and my chest. I was good till she did that. And Daniel says, Ashley, I really, with all my good intentions, want to see you and check on you. I feel sad. I can't believe your face and body is hurt. Talk to me or let me see you. I am sorry to see you like this. Please. Sorry I wasn't there. And that was it. That was the last message Daniel could ever send to Ashley's phone because she died shortly after this. A couple hours. So there's part 6. Thank you guys for hanging out. We went through the investigation report. What do you guys think? Let's touch in with our feelings real quick before we go. I appreciate you guys hanging out and following this case. It is a closed case. They're serving their time. 2022 is when this happened. They're not eligible for parole until 2042. I think this is brutal and it should have been talked more about, especially coming from a true crime junkie that you guys see on YouTube a lot. Only a few channels covered this, and I think it deserved more attention. If it would have gone to trial, it would have been a double trial. So that would have been interesting to watch, right, on the true crime channels. But they took a plea deal, so they both got 20 years, and Ashley lost her life. Mike says technology is great, but holy smokes, it's also the root of evil. Absolutely. Julie says, poor Ashley must have been in so much pain. Hey, life artist, thanks for making it. I appreciate you for being here. And Mike says, Daniel's sleeping. Where's your kid? Right. I hope you're having a good time at work, life artist. Thanks for stopping by. Beautiful JoJo. She was ambushed and they gang up on her. Yeah, you guys saw it. So it is very freaking sad, Lily. So sad. This is Ashley right here too. So let's keep her in mind as we talk about her case. I wish these females got life, but that's just my opinion. I appreciate you guys for hanging out and listening to the investigation report. I know it was a lot of reading. We went through the fight. I'm gonna have to go back and edit and blur because, you know, but stay tuned. The series is not over. I will start part 7, and we'll start going through calls and messages, etc. Like I said, I was able to get all the documents for quite some time for the case. So we're not done with the Ashley Bocanegra case. We're going to be listening to inmate calls and etc. from these 2 females that assaulted Ashley, and she lost her life. So I don't show them so that we can, like, you know, give them any clout. I'm disgusted. This is her, the sister of Daniel, who filmed and kicked her in the back. And this is her again. And then we have Antonetta, who is the fiance of Daniel, and that was her man, and why Ashley lost her life, essentially. Thank you, Julie, for being here. Hey, Mary Beth, thanks for checking in. So I'll end it at that, you guys. I thought that interview was interesting, you know, because if they've been in jail, they were locked up, and now you have an inmate snitching on her. It's just, you wonder what's going on right in there, and why your jail buddy wants to snitch on you. So it makes me assume that she's still being violent and abusive in jail and manipulative. So yeah, exactly. Rest peacefully, beautiful Ashley. So I will see you guys on part 7. It'll be a few days. I have to go through the calls and stuff and make sure all is good. And then I will be back with another Ashley episode. In the meantime, I will be live tomorrow to cover 2 different cases and topics. One during the day and then one in the evening. So I will be seeing you guys together. Yes, Julie, they are in jail. They're in the same jail. They're not necessarily, from what I heard last, they're not in the same housing unit. Antonetta is in like purple, which is considered like dangerous, or the most dangerous. I don't know like what their classes are, but it's like dangerous, medium, high, medium, and then like low. And I guess purple is like the worst. Last I heard, she was in that, and Janine Rosa wasn't. So they were separated in different housing units, but they're in the same prison. So essentially they could communicate if they could find a way. I appreciate you guys for being here. Please go back and watch parts 1 through 5 if you're lost and confused, and if you want to get into the case, especially since I'm going to continue to cover it. So I appreciate you guys here. Let's keep Ashley in mind. This is her on the screen. Sending all love and good vibes to her family, and to Julian, and to Daniel. Essentially, they were involved in the case, but they didn't cause it, right? This was just Janine and Antonetta and being a bully, which I think is a topic that needs to be covered here more on true crime. Yes, brutal case, Julie. Wednesday says, thanks for hanging out. Thank you, Wednesday, for being here and being supportive and bringing your great perspectives to the conversations. Jojo says, I have to rewatch this one to catch everything. Yeah, this was just like a little, like, we went back to the beginning. It's like we went through the interrogations and everything, and now I like went back to the beginning. We read the criminal investigation report just to make sure we heard everything correctly from the detective. We saw it through the interrogation, right? But it's different when it's coming from different entities and law enforcement. Thank you. I appreciate you for replaying. And for those of you replaying, I appreciate you. Please hit the like, drop a comment. We've been talking in the comments about this case, so I really like that. And I appreciate you guys for being here. And I will see you guys tomorrow on the next True Crime Live. Remember to spread the word and keep Ashley in your mind and in your heart. And remember that bullying is never good in any form, shape, manner, platform, etc. And I just want to voice that. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Have a good night, and I will see you on the next one.